Welcome back, friends. This is John Hart, and I want to give you a heads up. I'm going to be using a word today in the podcast that some of you might find offensive, okay? And the word is piss. And I've got to use that word. I can't say pee because those folks back then didn't say pee. This is what fits the story, so I hope it don't offend you. But anyway, you know, when you grow up in a small Appalachian town, you learn early that the world has a pecking order. Not written down anywhere, not taught in schools, but everybody knows it. And the funny thing is, it's not based on kindness or character or how hard you work. It's based on where you live. The holler, the hill, the mill houses, the trailer row, the brick homes up by the courthouse. Every place has a reputation, and every reputation stuck to the people who live there like coal dust on a miner's shirt. You know, I remember being little and hearing grown folks talk about who was piss poor. I didn't know what it meant, not really. I just knew it wasn't good. Later on, I learned the truth, the real truth, the kind you don't hear unless you're listening to old people talk when they think kids aren't paying attention. Back in the old days, folks saved their urine in pots, let it sit, let it get real strong, and then sold it to the tanneries because the ammonia softened the hides. If you had a pot to pee in, you could make a few pennies. If you didn't, well, you were just what they called piss pot poor. That's not an insult. That's a history lesson. That's survival. But somewhere along the way, the meaning changed. It stopped being about tanning hides and started being about shaming people who already had nothing. And then there was that other word, the one that cuts deeper, trash. Now, let me tell you something true. Nobody with money ever got called trash. Nobody with a nice house. Nobody with a daddy who owned land or a mama who taught school. Trash was a word reserved for the poor, and the poorer you were, the more likely somebody was to slap that label on you. You lived in the wrong holler? Trash. Your porch sagged a little? Trash. Your clothes came from the thrift store? Trash. Your daddy drank? Trash. Your mama worked nights? Trash. It didn't matter if you were kind. It didn't matter if you were honest. It didn't matter if you'd give the shirt off your back to help somebody. If you were poor, you were fair game. And here's the part nobody likes to talk about. The people doing the judging were often just one paycheck away from the same fate. That's the cruel magic of small town class systems. The folks who have the least are the quickest to distance themselves from the ones who have less. Because deep down, everybody knows how fragile it all is. One layoff, one injury, one bad year, and you could go from doing all right to piss poor overnight. And that fear, that quite unspoken fear, is what kept the word trash alive. But here's what I know now, after a lifetime of watching people. The folks they called trash were the ones who kept the town running. They were the ones who worked the hardest jobs. They were the ones who helped their neighbors. They were the ones who raised kids on nothing but grit and love. They were the ones who survived things the people on the hill never even saw. And the holler, that place people looked down on, it wasn't trash. It was a community. It was family. It was home. People in the holler shared food when there wasn't enough. They watched each other's kids. They fixed each other's cars. They sat with each other in the dark when the lights got cut off. You don't forget that kind of loyalty. You don't forget that kind of love. So when I hear those old words now, piss poor, trash, hollow people. I don't hear shame anymore. I hear strength. I hear survival. I hear the backbone of Appalachia. And maybe that's why we tell these stories. Not to relive the hurt, but to reclaim the truth. Because the people they call trash were never trash. They were the ones who held the whole place together. This is John Hart, the Hart of Appalachia. Thank you for stopping in today. If you've enjoyed the podcast, please like, share, and subscribe. Until then, God bless you, and I'll see you on down the road.